Good evening and welcome to Project Talk, your favorite Sunday afternoon, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Eastern Seaboard with one American and one Canadian. I am Glenn from Fun King 3D and Fun King Garage, and with me, as always, of course, is my brother from another mother, James from Print N Play and P Retrospective.
Look at that, nailing all the demographics, all the channel names.
Whew, that's a lot.
I feel like I'm going to jump right into the story before this, because that. So, as you know, we rarely get to go live on time. Yeah,
rarely isn't. I don't even think the right word.
Yep. So I came down an hour ago and got my Prusa here because it needs some work, and I got my camera set up, and I got my headset on.
No, is that an hour ago U.S. time or Canadian time?
Oh, because of the inflation. So I got everything set at 3:30, and I started to type a message to Glenn on my phone that said I went down and set up my stuff an hour early, so my streaming setup's going to crash about 5 minutes before the stream. No, about 2 minutes before the stream, because that's important. Because it wasn't 2 minutes before the stream. At 25 after, I sat down, ready to go, launched OBS, clicked on the link to here, and my screen just went black and the computer hard locked.
And I said, of course, why wouldn't it? It's Sunday. I've been running speed checks, speedtest.net all day long just to make sure that I wasn't going to fight what I was fighting last week. And so far it's been pretty good. So
I'm going to start tearing down right away because I have 2 printers to try and fix this stream if we have time. So no time for pleasantries. This is the Prusa that, do you remember those who are watching about 2 months ago, I went to print something out at the end of the stream and one of the bearings was basically like locked up. This is that Prusa.
I remember that.
Yeah. This is that Prusa. I oiled the bearing without taking it off. I put some oil on the smoother and I pushed it like into the middle of it. Came back about 20 minutes later and the bearing was completely free and fine. Well, it's started gumming up again, and I'm not gonna patch atoms it together this time. Mitch asked if I fixed my friend's printer yet. Not yet. I haven't had time. I've been working on a video that's quite past due at this point, and the subject matter is kind of glaring me in the face right now.
Literally.
Yeah. That being said, it has turned out, like, I would say, even better than I thought it was going to.
Let me run down the chat real quick. Brian is in here, and he's the first one that I see, but he doesn't get bragging rights. Actually, Scott Hack Monkey does because he was the first to say first. We'll split bragging rights. You can both have bragging rights. Mitch 3D said he's going to miss this one because he'll be visiting family, but yet he's with us anyway. And Mitch, you know what's cool about YouTube? You can always go back and watch it later. Not nearly as much fun because we can't interact, but it's there. Sergio is also with us. Alan Osborne. Ollie is here. Scott, Tom Elrod, Alan King, Builder's Mark, and there's Mitch 3D popping, even though he wasn't supposed to be here. So before we get too in-depth into anything, right off of the bat, I want to call out somebody in the chat. Can I do that? Am I allowed to call out people?
It's your chat.
So I have a bone to pick with Scott Hack Monkey. That guy went above and beyond to do me a favor. I mean, above and beyond.
Oh, is this computer related?
It is computer related. So I wasn't really going to say anything, but I think it's late enough now where Scott can't do it for anybody else anyway. But Micro Center near him, Alan King said, woo, not me. The Micro Center near him had a screamingly good deal. And he mentioned it in the chat a few weeks back. $199 for an 11 series Intel i7 processor, and you got a free Asus motherboard with it for $199. Well, I then found out it was only the Micro Center by him, and oh no, I'm getting to you, Mark. You just hang on. I'm gonna get to you. So I found out it was only the Micro Center near him, and I determined that it wasn't worth it for me to drive all the way up there. So I reached out to him and asked him to do me a favor, and he absolutely did me a solid, got me one, and shipped it to me. Where the whole, if I have a bone to pick with you, I didn't even get a handwritten note in the box. I mean, no candy, no stickers, like only what I asked for. I mean, geez.
Louise.
And I went through the box twice just to be sure. So no, honestly, Scott, I cannot thank you enough for that. Absolutely a fantastic deal. It's going to allow me to upgrade from my 8000 series Intel now to the 11,000 series, and which actually puts me one series newer than Xander's. And then I'll be able to use my 8000 series to upgrade Zach into something a little bit more solid. I think he's running a 4000 series Intel. So
that's basically child abuse. I'm surprised he hasn't been taken away yet.
So yeah.
What's next? AMD? I'm just kidding. I love AMD.
Right. But yeah. So, but thank you, Scott. Thank you so much for doing that for me. I really appreciate it. So now, Mark. Mark, note to self: if sending anything to Glenn, put in extras. Well, I sent something to James, and I put a nice handwritten note in there that said, I farted in this box before I taped it up, so enjoy that.
So, and here's the funny thing. I didn't throw the note out. I have it, but I stuck it somewhere while I was cleaning, and I don't remember what it was. But it was literally like, I'm not going to even make a mental note of this, so I'll stumble across it a little bit later on as a surprise.
Then you'd be like, oh yeah, that one time Glenn farted in the box he sent me.
One time.
No, so I was picking on Mark, but Mark watched my video from Friday, which, thank you to everybody that watched it, and shame to those who didn't.
And commented, sometimes twice.
And sometimes twice, yeah. It took me a while to respond to those because I wasn't really sure, like, how.
What happened is, as you can probably guess, it posted twice by accident, and I decided rather than deleting the spare one, I would just embrace it.
Mark had said, that you can hotwire the seat with a battery and move it forward to get the seat out. And so if you didn't see the comment that I gave him a hard time that I tried that, and it gave me a severe electrical shock and made me say swears and throw my wrenches around, but the camera wasn't running at the time. So oh, there's my mom. I'm online, but you didn't mention my name, and I don't know how to get on there to chat. Hello to my mother, who is out. Oh, I have a great story to tell you guys about my mother now that she's here. So I don't know how to tell my mom how to get into chat because I don't know what device she's watching YouTube on. But so I'm going to tell a story about my mom. I'll preface this with I love my mom to death. And it should be known that my mom was the one that got me into technology. My mother bought a PC right about the same time that I was in college. And it was the first time that I'd ever touched a PC. Before that, it was just like the Commodore and stuff. So, and then she bought a better PC, and then I got a PC, and so like she actually got me going to where I am today. No credit to ITT; they didn't teach me anything. So my mom calls me the other night. They would have been Thursday night. And there's a whole story that goes with that too. Friday's video almost didn't happen. I was still editing Thursday night because I hadn't shot everything yet. But we'll come back around to that story. So my mother calls me and she says to me, "What are you doing?" And the way that she presented it, it was like she was watching me and I was doing something wrong. And I'm like, editing and getting ready to eat my dinner. And she said, do you have anybody out or does anybody come out to the garage to check on you while you're working underneath all of this heavy equipment? And I said, not typically. And she said, well, I'm watching one of your videos and you're underneath all this heavy equipment. And I said, oh, which one are you watching? And she said, Fumman's episode 1. The delivery. And I said, oh yeah, that's a good one. And I said, actually, nobody was really under anything, and we were all being safe. And she said, "Who's we?" And I said, "Well, there was the two yahoos that delivered the truck, and then Sean was out there with the camera, and then myself." And she said, "Oh, so you have somebody out there that's filming, keeping an eye on you?" And I said, "Well, not anymore." And she said, "I don't think I can watch any more of your videos." And so I said to her, "Well, spoiler alert, I don't die in it." And I said, "Not even in the one I'm editing now." Sorry to pick on you, Mom, but it's just funny. I mean, the next, I don't know how many videos coming out, I don't die in those either.
Every video I've ever shot has one thing in common: you don't die.
It gave me a good chuckle.
So I don't know which bearing is actually messed up now, because now that there's no weight on them, they're not binding at all.
Oh, of course, right.
I ordered, I guess, bushings, because the other thought I had is if one of these bearings has been kind of messed up since I got it. One of the things I've complained about is I've got noise in the prints off here, and it's not terrible, but it's, it's at least slightly annoying.
But is it that noise that we've discussed before that all of them have? That all the crucians have?
What I've come across is some people have it, some people don't, and it is but like when you have it, it looks the same amongst everybody. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like so I'm like, what if it's just one of the bearings is putting noise into my print? What if that's been the issue? So I'm gonna put bushings onto it, but I need my printer running now. So not to rant about Prusa printers. I have this one, and I got for my birthday last year a mini, and they're meant to be my workhorses. But really, I've only needed one workhorse. So the mini's printed like 3 prints, and that's it. So I was printing something for a friend of mine so it was originally supposed to be printed on here, and then I started getting layer shifts again. So I moved over, and the print I was doing just fit onto the mini. So I started up because Kay's mom was down, and this friend lives in my hometown, so I was going to send the print home with her. Anyways, it turns out the magnets on the mini don't hold the spring plate nearly as tightly as the magnets on the Mark III. And at some point, I guess the nozzle caught ever so slightly the corner of one of the edges of the print, and pushed the whole plate forward. Because if I grab onto the edge of the front of the flex plate on the mini, I can actually slide it just by. Can you see my hand? So like just by grabbing onto the edge, I can slide the spring shield sheet off of it. So it caught ever so slightly, and obviously the print was well attached to the bed, so it slid it, and it rammed the corner of it into the back of the display on the mini and wedged the display all the way forward. So I come down, the printer's printing in air, and the screen is blank. And I checked the connection, and sure enough, like the connections was right, and I push it all back into place, and the screen wouldn't come back up. And like 2 seconds of panic, because then since the print was ruined anyway, switched it off and back on, and it fixed it. But like I'm like, if the angle had been right, it probably could have just completely broken the screen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's amazing. For those who have never accidentally caught their hand in the printer, that thing has got a tremendous amount of force. So my mom is here, by the way. She's in the chat. So,
hi, Glenn's mom.
Mitch said, that's lovely. Your mom even watches your videos. Yeah, she tried to call me on the Amazon Echo the other night, and she's like, "Why can't I see you?" And I'm like, "I don't have a camera on mine." And she's like, "Why not?" And I said, "I don't want people looking at you." And so then she said, "Well, how do I see you occasionally?" And I said, "I'm live every Sunday from 4:30 to 6:30."
You guys.
I know.
Okay, so I'm trying to switch these bearings without fully tearing it apart. So I'm kind of just like, and also I don't have any black. I don't have any of the black zip straps or zip ties left that came with the Prusa that are the right size. So I'm trying to take this apart in a way that I can reinstall it without having to redo those ties.
Yeah, I think 4-inch zip ties will work. They don't have to be those long ones, but
I don't have any ones thin enough.
Oh, Mark said put ceramic bearings, then no more problems. I didn't even know that that was an option.
I also didn't know that.
I know that the company that makes the cable chains, I want to say it begins with an N. Somebody will know who I'm talking about. I know that they have a bushing that's made. IGUS.
So IGUS is the one that I ordered.
Okay, yeah.
So I ordered a 16 pack of them. And a lot of the reviews were on Amazon were actually people using them to upgrade the Prusa, and said that like one of the spots that has the most noise is the bed, and noise is complete, like audio noise, and completely gone after switching to them, because obviously there's no moving parts in those moving parts, if that makes sense. Okay, I gotta see. So the only problem is they won't be here till October, and I need my printer before then, so we're gonna be doing this multiple times.
Well, that's okay.
It's free content.
Yeah, I was going to say it's continuous content. So speaking of content, I want you guys to know that I am obviously working on my Lego spaceship. I have 2 bags left. I have the bag, and I opened it while I was waiting on James. I haven't been working on it in between, only during the stream. But I'm working on bag 8, and then I got bag 9, and then I'm going to eat a baguette. No, that was like a James level joke right there.
Don't flatter yourself, honey.
But my goal is to get this done tonight, because not next week. We should touch on that too. There won't be a stream next week. So 2 weeks from tonight.
Glenn messaged me and said, I need to look for a replacement for you. You're terrible.
Yeah, I said I'm going to need at least 2 weeks to get somebody trained in here. And no, my plan is to get the laser burn your house down machine in here, and start playing with that, the laser engraver.
Pew pew.
I was waiting for it to get cooler outside. Now it is starting to cool down. We have a hurricane coming, and anytime there's a hurricane coming, it always drops temperature a little bit. It was actually only 80 in the garage yesterday afternoon, which was fantastic.
Impending disaster leads to comfortable conditions.
Right. But I just figured, like, I've been banned from using it in the house because I almost burned the house down. But this isn't the house. So I'll just use it out here. I'm smarter now than the first time I fired it.
What's the difference between an LMU and an LM8UU? So the ones off the Prusa are marked LMU8. And I think the regular bearings I have are LM8UU.
Yeah, I don't know. It could just be a manufacturing thing, but...
And then I dropped it.
I would think a Google search might... or somebody in the hive mind will know.
The truth is, because I did look up the difference beforehand, having not touched it. And it said that one has a completely closed, both ends are closed, and one has one end open. But I just checked these, and they are.
How would you have a bearing with both ends closed? You wouldn't be able to put the rod in them.
Magic?
My mom said I have to go now. Boys, be good. Don't burn the house down. No, that'll be 2 weeks. 2 weeks before we burn the house down. Alan King said it's the length.
No, they're physically identical. They're both. Come on. Focus on me. There we go.
It could be an optical illusion, but the one to your right looks fatter than the one to the left, but it could just be. Yeah, I don't know. Scott asked which laser, and I'm going to pretend I'm going to do the right thing and pretend like I didn't see that question, only because I can't remember the name of the company. But that's because I have brain fog. But they were nice enough to send it to me, and I was supposed to make a video, and I haven't yet, and I feel bad. It's a pretty nice machine. If it comes to my mind, I'll let you know. But otherwise, you will definitely see it in just a couple of weeks. We are taking next week off because James has a 4-day weekend.
I do. It's a true story.
I want a 4-day weekend.
These new bearings, which are also quite cheap bearings, but I was like, well, I'm only gonna have them on here for a month anyways. They are not sliding smoothly. I've had them
pack
for.
them up with grease.
Well, no, they're supposed to come pre-packed and they're sealed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would not trust.
I wouldn't. I'd pack them on my own.
Oh, we can do that then.
Yeah, Brian said Super Lube is amazing. Absolutely. 3-in-1 oil is good, except for it doesn't stay like the grease. It'll eventually just run out. So
I don't know what I have to lubricate these guys with.
Uncle Ron has joined us. Orter Laser Master. No, you guys are going to beat me down until I remember what it is, aren't you?
Don't give in to what you cannot fight.
Do you guys ever play the game Hurdle? It's
Yes.
like Wordle, but it's music.
I play it pretty much daily.
Okay, so I play it daily as well. And so the way my brain works, like that first 1 second clip, which I hate when the first 1 second is half blank.
Yep.
Like there's a half a second of silence, but like it'll play that first second and I'll know the song, but I won't be able to put my finger on it. So
Yep.
I just stop playing and it'll just keep ringing in my head for like 15 minutes. And then like I go, oh, it's that. So I've got quite a few of those in the 1 second.
You know what I hate? When you've got one where you don't get it in the first second and it's literally like the same sound repeated for the first 5-6 seconds.
Oh yeah.
So it's like dun dun dun.
That plays like the
Dun,
first,
dun, dun.
yeah, the same 3 notes or
Dun
something.
dun 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 dun. It's like that doesn't help me. I've got machine oil.
All right. I'm for those of you guys out there waiting, I am looking because I have it. I have a tab open on my other machine upstairs. Tabs from other devices. Dirt from other riders.
Eat up, Martha. That's the.
It's a Sculpt Fun. SCULPFUN. Sculpt Fun. And it's made out of 20 by 20 extrusion. And I mean the assembly went together really nice. So here's the long story. Too long didn't read. Zach and I filmed the whole video of assembling that printer. And halfway through I realized this mic wasn't turned on and I turned it on. And it was the other one of these that I used, but the mic part of it was bad. And it ended up putting noise through the whole entire second half of the video. So now what I've done is I've determined that the way I'm going to handle it is I'm going to shoot another video and use the assembly just as B-roll. But I want to actually be able to burn something with it that's not my entire house. And for those who don't know, when I tested it, I was going to burn onto some corrugated cardboard, and I just fired that baby up at 100%. So, yep.
Yeah, that bearing. Can you? I don't know if you guys can hear that. Probably.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and that's the brand new one.
Yeah. No, that doesn't sound like it's got any lubrication in it at all. Scott said he got a Comgrow Z1 10-watt. Yeah, I just ordered. So, got to think about how to tell the whole story. A friend of mine works for a fairly large company. He's the IT guy, and when they all upgrade their phones, I get to upgrade my phone with an older one. I mean, newer than what I have, but one of their turn-ins. So I now have a Note 20 in Mystic Green. I'm waiting on the case to get here. That might actually be what just buzzed. Oh no. But Xander also got an upgrade. He went from a Samsung S7 to an S10, and he was looking for a case that he liked, and the one he found was on Etsy, and it's a wooden one that's lasered. And I said, "Oh, see, if we had had the laser fired up, we could have done your logo on there." But I bought the one from Etsy, so I want to get the laser engraver set up so that I can do stuff like that. Oh.
And now that so the original bearings are actually quite a bit smoother than, like, I can't find which one of these would have been binding up. You know what I mean? Like they,
as far as the ones that were on there,
yeah, like smooth as an Android's bottom.
Smooth as a never mind.
So I don't know. Maybe I just relubricate these ones and put it back together with them, because those other ones are way too grindy. Oh, that's interesting.
Mitch said S10 is a great phone. Been like 3 years and works great. Well, I just came out of the S9. There's two S9s, an S9 and an S9 whatever. And the wife and I both had one of those. So from the same person brought them to me, and within 24 hours of having them, she dropped hers on the bathroom tile floor and broke the screen. So when we got these three, like a lot of times he can bring me a couple of the same one, which I like because then it's easier for me to maintain hers, being I'm familiar with it. But this time we got three different ones, and I took this one based on I wanted the best camera because I'm going to end up starting to use it for more filming. Mitch said the screens are so expensive. Well, we'll get to that in a second because we have protection plans. Her and I do on our phone, and it's only like $40 to get the screen replaced. But we just never did it on hers, and I don't know why. But the phone that she just got now also has a broken screen. It came that way, and I'm like, well, it just saves you from having to do it. But that's what we're going to do is we're going to have the screen replaced on it. And it is Xander's birthday tomorrow, but he will not be joining us today. I had asked him to join us on stream, but he had prior obligations.
Extreme flatulence, got it.
That too. No, he went to an event with the church. So he likes God better than he likes us.
You knew your priorities this morning.
Yeah, so James was texting me while I was in church, and he was like trying to have a casual conversation with me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in church. And he's like, why are you texting? Or get off your phone, God's watching. Well, it's just funny because it was like at the point, because I don't carry a Bible, I just use my phone app. And it was at the point they're like, get out your Bibles.
Everybody thought you were cheap. It's so you can be super sneaky.
Right. Yeah, it's so I can play Angry Birds on there.
Okay, well, I have relubricated the bearings that were there. An interesting thing, though, so even like on both types of bearings, they have this black cap. Come on.
Yeah, it's a dust seal, like a.
It's missing on one. It's missing on one of the stock Prusa ones.
Huh.
So I was actually, good side, bad side. I was able to put oil on there, and it looks like it ran into the bearing, but that's also probably how dust and gunk has gotten into there to cause the issues.
What I like to do is I actually use Motorcraft Ford PTFE drive shaft lube, and I squirt it into the bearing, and then I take the smooth rod and I put it in there with my finger over the other end of the bearing,
Yeah.
and just let it exhaust the air, and then I work it back and forth, and then pack more grease in there if I have to. That way it actually pushes it into the bearings. No, it's long overdue. I've been running that thing for coming up on 6 years now. I'm not saying my way's the right way. I'm just telling you guys how I do it.
So from what I've read with the iGas bushings, I shouldn't even lubricate it. Like they're self-lubricating.
They are self-lubricating, yes.
And any lubricant you put in there may cause a conflict with what it secretes, basically.
Absolutely. Well, not only that, but then it also sticks. Like, because those technically are a wear item.
Yeah.
And so as they wear away, those granules will end up then sticking into the lubrication and working like sandpaper.
Well, hopefully this will get me, because I have several projects that
Ryan
require
said that dust cap is a glorified squeegee. It's pretty much true, but I gotta work faster because I really want to get through this tonight so that I can
go to the toy store.
I mean, it would be nice to be done with this. I love the fact that it gives me something to do while I'm sitting here, but I do want to get that laser engraver out here and start burning some stuff. Fire.
Settle down, Beavis. Settle down, Beavis. Did you watch the new movie yet?
Nope.
It was pretty funny, actually.
I just haven't had time. I haven't had time to sit still.
It's another multiverse movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. They meet the smartest Beavis and Butthead of all places and all times.
Mark's messaging me. So, you know, you guys do this just so that you're like, oh, that's my message. He's reading my message live on the air.
It's true.
I want to tell another fun story because it happened. Oh, that's pretty awesome, Mark. Yeah, I can't wait to be able to do stuff like that. Just some of his laser engraving work. So, Uncle Ron, did you get the pics the other day? Oh, yeah, I did. I just forgot to reply. I'm a terrible friend. There's no doubt. So yeah, last week, right after the stream. Now the stream ran a little long, right? You guys remember that?
Nope.
You have to remember that.
As far as Kay's concerned, it ran perfectly on time, and I did not delay going up for supper.
Excellent. Okay, that's the story we'll stick with. So I went in, and my wife was already home from her church function, and she said to me, "There's something wrong with the garage door." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she said, "It made a really loud noise, and it won't go up now." And I said, "I know what happened." So I went out and looked, and sure enough, both torsion springs were busted. There was like a 3-inch gap on both sides on each spring. Now, I do a lot of stuff. For those who don't know, I built my house. Like, I physically built my house. I don't do garage door springs.
Because they scare you?
Because you can die.
Yep.
You can die. So I said to her, I said, "Listen, I'm going to have to call somebody." And that phrase does not come out of my mouth very often. But I said, "I'm going to have to call somebody to fix it." I said, "I don't know what it's going to cost, but it's scary stuff. Those springs are under massive amounts of tension, and you can die. Like, you know, they could easily put out an eye or smash your face.
Put out an eye. They could put out a whole guy. Like,
yeah.
Your existence.
Pretty much so. So, I just told her, I said, all right, I'll figure it out. I mean, we got to have that garage door. It's the main door. It's the main spot that we park the car. So, Ron said torsion springs can be spooky. And Mark said, oh, I hate those springs. Always hated working on them. So I went up and sat at my computer to try to figure out, who to call, what it was going to take, what it was going to cost to get new springs. I didn't even know that like there's different springs for different doors. Like, I mean, it makes sense to me now, but I just thought that you just put it under more or less tension based on how heavy the door was. But there's actually springs based on length. And if there's any garage door people in our chat, they're probably, just screaming at their screens right now. But I came across a YouTube channel. I should probably look it up so I don't butcher their name, but it's like, I think it's do-it-yourself garage door parts. And the guy has a video walking you through replacing torsion springs. And I'm watching this video and I'm thinking to myself, well, if the guy made a video about it, I can do it. Like, you're not going to put a video out on something dangerous, right?
Womp, 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 womp.
I replaced my own garage door springs this week. In fact, it was yesterday. They're not really that scary. So I'm now a garage door expert. I watched the video twice.
That's the secret. That's how you become the expert. Like the first time,
you have to watch it 2 times.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you can watch it on 2 times speed to save time.
Scott said I obviously lived through it. Yeah. Spoiler, I didn't die.
Your mom will be disappointed.
I gotta say that my butt cheeks were clenched up the whole time I was doing it. Now watching Kyle, the guy that made the video, watching him do it, he's got the 2 rods and he's like, like it's nothing, and I'm up there like I don't want to put my face anywhere near it.
I hate this. I absolutely hate this. I gotta get these the little U screws back into place around the bearings, and every time I get one off, the other one falls out.
Oh yeah.
Like it's because I didn't tear the printer all the way down, and I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna save time then instead of dismantling the entire. But
Uncle Ron said hang 2 or 3 shipping blankets over them. It limits visibility but minimizes launch distance. Well, it's not really the spring because again, it's a coil around a metal pipe. So if they break, they're not going to come out of there. I mean, you might get fragments, but it's those rods that you're torsioning it with. So, but anyway, do-it-yourself garage door part, DIY garage door parts.com. No affiliation, just I reached out to him at, I want to say it was about 8:00 Sunday night, and asked him, because my garage door springs were 2 different sizes. It's a 9-foot wide by 8-foot tall door, and I have 2 of them, and one side was a 21.5 and the other side was a 17.5. And I Googled that, and the internet said that that's not uncommon, but they still try to like change it. Like one company said, send us your specs and we'll figure out what to use so that they're the same size. I don't know why. Doesn't matter. I emailed Kyle at like 9:00 at night on Sunday, and he messaged me back at 11 p.m. Sunday night with an answer. So I ordered the springs Monday morning, got them through the week, and he had actually said to use 2 20-inch springs, which turned out to be cheaper because if you order the odd sizes, you're ordering them separately, as where if you order them the same size, they're a kit. So it saved me about $50 that way. They have a deal where if you spend over $110, they give you the death rods and cables for free. And then, and the center bearing, because most garage doors use a nylon bushing and it wears out, and mine was very much worn out. And so I got the bearing for that. And then I bought the end bearings and I bought all new wheels for it and stuff. And I spent about 2 hours yesterday redoing the whole door. And it's perfect. It's so silent now and smooth, and it actually opens. But Sunday night, she had pulled into the garage and put the door down, and that's when it broke. And the noise apparently was horrific. I wasn't in the house, but apparently it was horrific, and you could hear it through the entire house. But then the car was stuck in the garage. So Xander and I went out to lift the door to get the car out, and we could not lift the door. That's how heavy that door was. So I used a trick that I learned while hanging drywall. And I used my hydraulic cart and wood and my floor jack, and I got it up high enough where I could finally push it over to where it was, level overhead to get the car out. But it was successful. So I guess what I'm saying to you is your mileage may vary, but garage door springs are not the worst thing to ever have to do. And it's been a fear my entire life. My next door neighbor, who's a very good friend of mine, his garage doors, like you go to put them up and they fall back down. He has to push them up with a stick to get them up. Once they're up, they'll stay, but they won't lift themselves. And he's like, well, can't we just tighten the springs? And I'm like, nope, you call somebody. Nope, not doing it. I ain't touching that. And he's like, but like you ran all my electrical and stuff, that didn't kill you. And I'm like, nope, not touching garage door springs.
But now you do.
I still have a great deal of respect for him, but not, yeah, I don't think I mind it. So
I somehow lost a bed spacer during this, even though I put them all into a plastic container as I was taking them off.
Well, of course. Why wouldn't you? Scott said, I have a door with 2 broken springs. Hard to believe those doors are that heavy. Absolutely. Well, and I think that's what happened with this too. I don't think both springs broke at the same time. I think one's been broken for a while, and the garage door opener has just been working harder. Just because of looking at it, where the brake was, it was a little more rusty, as where the other one, the brake was super clean. So, yeah. But I mean, it's a little known secret. I don't share this, but I'm absolutely terrified of the table saw. Terrified of the table saw, just because I know what that thing can do. But I use it on a regular basis. Now, a chainsaw, on the other hand, that thing's like an extension to my arm. No respect for that at all.
It'll fix that one day. Don't worry.
Just kidding, everybody. I respect the chainsaw.
Oh man, this isn't exactly
how where it went, huh?
Well, yeah, like nothing fell off while I was doing this. I did everything calmly and put all the pieces in.
It's gotta be there.
Well, there's only so many places it could have gone, unless I.
So take another one and drop the other one and see where it goes.
Oh, that's brilliant. Plus, I've got 8 tries to get it right.
Well, within 8 tries, you'll find at least one.
Found it. I was like, the only place it could be is somewhere on the printer itself, and sure enough, it was stuck in between a couple of wires underneath the bed. We've problem solved, and by we, I mean mostly me. You in chat, you're all useless. You didn't come over. You didn't help me find it. You didn't give me a shoulder.
Encouraging words.
Didn't give me a shoulder massage after all that stress.
Uncle Ron said, if you don't respect the chainsaw, it'll remind you why you should.
Okay, so just in case Pruz is watching this stream and needs to know how to make the next one better, in the Mark IV, in the plate that holds the bed, create indentation that's big enough for these to just sit. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. I'm just kidding. It's right here. It's not as much as into the ether as my old streaming spot was. I am gonna need probably tweezers to get it though without banging my head. As I was saying, create indentations on the bed mounting plate so that you can sit those in and they don't get knocked off when you try to put the bed down on it.
Huh, yeah.
Because that's half the struggle at this point now is going to be when I go to put this back on top, or the bed mount back on top, it's going to knock over these things about 20 times before I get it right.
Carl said wear chainsaw chaps. Wonder if chainsaw chaps would help you when you're doing garage door springs. Yeah, it was kind of funny because like I had made such a big deal about it to the wife, and then I go upstairs and like I lay in the chair and they put that thing in the back of my head and I wake up and I say I know kung fu. I came down and I'm like, okay, I'm a garage door expert now, and she's like, yeah, I don't know. Like you just told me that you could die, and I'm like, yeah, but I watched the video. Like, it's fine now.
To be fair, you can die doing a lot of things if you don't do it properly, and a video is usually enough to.
Well, and I mean, in theory, I could die doing a lot of the stuff that I already do. Just ask my mom. But I just said to her, I said, I don't want to call people. And then, from the research I did, it would have cost me almost $1,000, if not, a full $1,000 to get that fixed. And I mean, I realize that, $1,000 is a cheap price to pay compared to death, but I didn't die. So, and it cost me sub $200.
See, there it goes. Literally, I put the thing down top, and the tension on the wires is enough to cause it to spin and knocked all of them out of place.
Well, that doesn't sound like much fun. Can you put a little dab of grease or something on them to hold them?
The grease that I have is not very viscous. It's like machine oil, so it's like
no, that wouldn't work. Yeah, you don't do that.
No, that's just going to make them slide easier. That'll make sure they disappear into the stratosphere. Kay and I have to redo our bathroom, and it's not the type of work. Where did that come from? Maybe I need to concentrate for a minute. Because I'm going to take all these back off now so I don't accidentally knock them flying while I'm moving things around.
Right.
Kay and I have to redo our bathroom. It's been sort of a long time coming. It started off with because we've got a crack in the acrylic in the bathtub.
You got a crack in your bathroom?
Well, at least a couple times a day. There was actually a hairline crack when we bought the place that we didn't see until after we bought the place. It was literally the first time we were showering. Or the first time I was showering after we moved in, I noticed.
Yeah.
And it's gotten progressively worse. And then now there's a little creek under the tub. And I'm like, well, I don't think that the crack is thick enough that water's getting through. It's, what I mean?
Doesn't take much.
But yeah, so I don't want to let it go and find out. And there's no water staining. Where the tub is, it's above our living room. So if there's enough water getting through to dampen the ceiling drywall, we would see it. But
right.
I'm not going to let it go. But so while we were at it, we're like, well, what if we move? Because our house, I think yours is 2 stories as well, plus the basement for us. Laundry's in the basement, and the bedrooms and everything are on the top floor. So it was like, well, why don't we move the laundry upstairs while we're at it? Make it a little more convenient.
Oh.
Yeah. So all that to say,
and a little more studio space.
Well, it'll be storage anyways. I'll be able to get things better organized. We had that actually did factor in. That was part of the conversation as to all the things that were going to happen. All that to say, last week I cut the largest check that I've ever cut in my life for the 50% deposit.
For the contractor?
For the contractor. Oh, well, it's the freaking magnets on this thing.
If you didn't live so far away, gosh, I just come do that for you. Pick up Mark on the way. and Uncle Ron, we'd have that done in no time.
I'm going to end up ruining this thing because every time I go down to put the bed on, the magnets grab the spacers. So that I hear the tick, and I go to look, and whichever one's attached to it goes flying off in a different direction.
Now, I'm trying to remember because it's been a long time since I assembled that. Can you... They're not brass? Your spacers aren't brass?
No.
Oh, no, they're not. They're just chrome.
I'm assuming the magnet's grabbing them. Maybe not.
Can you just like flip the printer up on its side and then actually just work one spacer in at a time using tweezers or some type of forceps?
I also take it back. It was not the magnet that was grabbing it. I guess I actually don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Now this one spacer is inside the aluminum extrusion, because of course it is.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
That's okay. I got tweezers. These tweezers brought to you by iFixit.
Uncle Ron said, road trip. Oh, Mark said, sure. See?
Just hammer it out.
Floridians don't know what a basement is. Yes, I do. I had one when I lived in Minnesota, and I actually could have had one here. I just didn't know it.
At the time.
Yeah. I'm 70 feet above the water table, so. I mean, anytime you have a basement in Florida, which there are buildings in Florida that have basements.
3 of them.
What's that?
3 of them.
Well, the church that I went to growing up in downtown Orlando had a basement. But, I mean, you have to have a sump pump and stuff because just purely of the moisture in Florida. Moisture.
And Trey, one more time this way. That way when I lose the parts, I can just throw the printer out and cry. Hi, I'm a defeatist. If I was a defeatist, I'd have so many projects that never got finished because they were like... That's
the title of the stream today. It's the one where we never finish anything. Brian said it's almost like they don't want you to take it apart. Well, I did manage to get the Nissan fixed this week, which was that was all part of the longer story too. So I needed to get the Nissan fixed so that I could get it out of the garage, get the Fummins back into the garage so that I could shoot some B-roll. But I had problems with the Nissan. I didn't get the Nissan done until Thursday. Ended up shooting the B-roll that I needed just out in the yard, but I did it in a way that nobody would ever know. And
I bet you all know because you just told me.
Yeah, well, everybody knows now. Oh, that's something else that I want to talk about. But all right, squirrel. But I ended up rebuilding the whole entire air conditioning system, new air conditioning compressor, new expansion valve, new dryer, new condenser, and it's just fantastic. I mean, it gets so freezing cold in there now. It's brilliant. Just in time for winter.
But I mean, Florida winter is basically like Canadian summer, right?
Yeah, well, Florida winter doesn't happen until February, and it's only one weekend. But no, I won't call this person out. But there is a certain person who may or may not be watching now. I don't know.
Is it me? Is it your mom?
What's that?
Is it me? Is it your mom?
No. That told me that I should not give you guys spoilers. That I shouldn't have said that the Fummins was already done, and that I'm driving it, and that it didn't kill me.
I think I know maybe who this person is. Does his name start with J?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know who this person is then.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess the question is how does the audience feel about that? I mean, do I spoil it for you guys that you know? the future. I mean, I always just thought it was kind of like an inner circle thing, you know, like you guys got the inside scoop because you tune into the live streams. But and nothing against this person. So I mean, if you are watching, this is nothing against you. I mean, I'm always open to opinions and conversation. So they just happen to feel that that I was kind of doing a disservice as far as like the up and coming surprises. Then I felt bad about it. So, oh, here, I didn't even think about this. I can, do you
Really want to hurt me?
feel that I should not, oh, I shouldn't just put that Glenn should not give, would it be spoilers, teasers, insider information?
Spoilers, I think, is because it's the term you've been using to describe it thus far. Right? Why reinvent the wheel?
I guess spoilers about upcoming, about things on FKG that have not been
What's going on?
released yet.
Come on. I got a wire hanging from the ceiling just off camera, and I hooked it with the printer on the way over.
Oh, that's nice.
It's always fun to try and juggle a printer with one hand while trying to move other stuff with the other one, you know, because it's just an ideal situation to be in.
All right, I created a poll because I forgot I can do that.
I didn't know you were Polish.
Scott said editing takes time, but it does remove the chance that the whole thing could end in utter failure. Removes the train wreck factor. Oh no, there's plenty of train wreck in there.
Oh, brother, you ain't kidding.
Ryan said, I mean, you can tell us if you want, but then we wouldn't need to watch the video. Although those series tend to just stop midway rather than document the carnage. Yeah, see, I try to document everything. I just want you guys to know, up front and full forward, if I ever hurt myself on camera, and I'm still able, if I don't die, that will make it into the video. I'll censor it so it's not totally gross, but...
I mean, it can't be any worse than that guy that you have hosting the show.
Uncle Ron said, I watched because 1, you're a friend, 2, to see if I recognize the location of the closing stroll. Yeah, I just don't, I don't want it to be, I don't want to hurt my audience if that's what it's doing. I just thought it was, kind of a fun thing that I could give you guys insider scoop.
This printer of my friend's has been sitting here for so long that it's just covered in like everything else that I've had no room for elsewhere. So now I'm trying to dig it out. It had 2 5-inch black and white CRTs sitting on top of it. And they've been there since that was the best television money could buy. Like the man said, I'm too old for this shiznit. You ever watched the show Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
You asked me that last week.
Oh, sorry.
And I have the same answer. I recall hearing of it, but I don't think I've ever watched it.
Oh, okay. We're almost done it now, so hopefully this will be the last week I bring it up.
No, James, I don't watch it, and never bring it up again.
We watched an hour-long episode today, and it was a what if, and it was like, what if Kimmy never got kidnapped? And it starts off with this like
I
kind of
didn't know she got kidnapped. Could you at least warn me that there's going to be a spoiler?
that happens before the series begins.
Oh,
So, anyway, so it starts off with kind of like what you think is a throwaway gag at the beginning of the movie or the show, where this guy's trying to like get into their building, and because she's been kidnapped and she has all these sort of like triggers around it, she's like, wait a second, and like this and this and this and this, like basically disproving everything he said was wrong. Like obviously he's trying to get in for reasons other than what he's saying. And so then it's an hour-long episode about the what if she didn't get kidnapped, and it ends up with that guy being there, except for she doesn't notice any of the stuff about him because she was never kidnapped. So, because they're like, didn't anything good come out of you being kidnapped? And she's like, no, don't ever say that again. And then it turns out like, no, I don't want to spoil. I mean, you might watch it at some point, you know?
I might.
This printer's a nightmare to move. I forgot how freaking big it is.
Wow, so far 56% of you say that yes, I should shut my pie hole.
Oh, come on. Up.
Oh, that's brilliant. See, you know, like if people don't speak up.
Oh.
I appreciate the feedback.
Okay, I'm making my way downtown. Gonna die.
I wonder then if that applies, not that I have any Patreons, but I wonder if that should apply to Patreons too. Do I like not give them spoilers either?
Well, step one, get some
Patreons and then ask them.
Yep. That also may come down to that may come down to you tagging posts. Oh, come on. I hate this thing.
So I'm curious. I mean, I've had a pretty good view rate, which by the way, 300. I'm gonna go look the number up again. 327 subscribers on the Garage channel, which is amazing to me. For those,
I didn't think you could afford that many bots.
Hey, easy. I don't want people to know that I'm buying subscribers. No, those are all legit.
They're actually too legit.
Too legit to quit.
Too legit to quit.
For anybody that did watch the video from Friday, the ending, the walking away scene, was pretty special.
I actually didn't get to watch the walking away scene. I got busy at work.
That's the best part. You should watch that first, then go back and watch the rest of it.
I liked the part where we couldn't see what you were doing at all.
Yeah. It's all right. I couldn't see what I was doing either.
Equal playground. Okay, so now I have to hope that this bed does in fact fit on here.
You got to hope that bed doesn't fit on there?
The bed that I kept from the X5S is in fact a... I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm hoping that it's a direct replacement for the one that was already on here.
Oh, so I messaged James during the week. I don't even remember what day that was. I'd have to go back and look. But last week on the stream, we were talking about Trunks, or Tron XY, however you pronounce it. Maybe
right.
Maybe they can tell me now because obviously they're paying attention. They followed me on Twitter.
Like immediately after. It was like the next day, I think.
Like creepy, like.
Yeah.
Like creepy, like, yeah. Sanders 3D has popped in and said, hi, y'all. Couple minutes to spare. Well, thanks for being here. Brian said, don't, because then you won't see your deliveries. And have no security. I don't know what that's pertaining to. Elaborate.
Stop. Elaborate and listen. That's how that sounds, right?
So, do you watch Umbrella Academy? Have you watched Umbrella?
We watched, I think, the first season, and it is one of those shows that we want to get back to because we both enjoyed it. It's just...
Yeah. Okay. So we made it through the whole thing. It's fantastic. I loved every minute of it. But the one guy, somebody will tell me, it's so and so and Cha-Cha. Harriet and Cha-Cha. One of the guys from the future, but that's every time somebody's telling him a story, he's like, elaborate.
Stop, elaborate, and listen. Oh, I already made that joke. Now, where did I put my multimeter?
Yeah, I don't know if Tronics Y, following me was purely coincidental, which seems
Creepy.
it seems a little weird that it would just happen at the point we were just talking about. But they didn't follow you, or were they already following you?
They're already following me.
Yeah, so that, I don't know, seems a little fishy. So, Tronics Y, first of all, if you are watching,
Send us free stuff.
shoot me a message and tell me how to pronounce the name of the company so that I can stop butchering it if I am. But yeah, I got nothing against you. Yeah, I was telling James, they had reached out to me. When did I say that was? Like back in May or something.
Yep.
About sending me the Crux. And then and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'll do a review on it. And then nothing. I mean, I understand that there's, big trouble in Little China right now. But
she sneaks around the world from New York to Carolina.
Oh, I see what you did there, Brian. He said, because I said I was going to shut my pie hole, so I won't see my deliveries and have no security.
I don't know where I stuck my multimeter in all of this.
So yeah, I do. Absolutely, Brian. I see what you did there. So actually, now I'm running my pie hole on my
that fancy box you bought last week.
Yeah, the little fancy box I bought there, Roy. That little box, innovative. I can't even remember what it's called. It's been a whole week since I talked about it, but that thing is. So actually, there's an update on that too, because Monday morning, I think it was, I got an email from them, and they said, "Hey, thanks for talking about us on your stream." No, they didn't. But I did get an email from them that there was an issue, that they had left a repository in there that they shouldn't have, and if there was a release, it could damage the firmware that's on there. Like it would overwrite part of the firmware with official stuff. And then there was a quick how-to on how to go in and remove or disable the repository. And so I sent them back a message and I said, hey, couple things. First of all, awesome little box. And I said, but when I bought this, I had no clue that there would be any type of support. Like I didn't expect there to be any type of support. And then all of a sudden, here you're emailing me like, hey, plus they said any boxes going out in the future, of course, won't have that problem. But I just thought that was really kind of cool. So
I don't think that's cool at all.
Scott asked if I've tried to get Octoprint up on it yet. I have not.
Hey, you should follow my guide on how to get it running under Docker, because I mean.
Yeah, I actually don't know Docker.
Docker's not overly complicated, to be honest.
Yeah, well, from the little bit of experience I have with other things where people are running those things under Docker, I understand that like file paths and stuff are real weird with Docker.
Well, because you basically have to map out so the idea is nothing is persistent in a Docker container, right? Like every time it starts up, it's a fresh instance. So if there's stuff that you need to be persistent, you need to tell it, hey, this directory. I'm getting echo.
I don't hear it.
Weird. Anyways, you have to say this directory inside the Docker container gets mapped to this directory on the file system outside the Docker container. So those specific folders then use local storage instead of storage inside the container to do it. So like for Octoprint, if you want your plugins to persist, you need to say, okay, for this directory where the plugins is, use this directory on my actual local file system.
So then what is the, I mean, I could see if you're using it in a developmental environment, but what's the benefit?
It's next to impossible to like corrupt your instance of whatever you're running, because it's running a fresh container each time. And also the upgrade's as simple as I want to replace this container with this container. And since the container basically also has all the operating system files and stuff you need into it, it's not a matter of like installing a program on your computer where other software may conflict or whatever. It's almost, I hate to use this because it's not exactly the same idea, but it's almost like running it in a virtual machine where it's
VM. That's what I was going to say.
It's like it's containerized is what it is. So it's in its own little world. Nothing else can impact it. And if it freezes, it doesn't take down anything else. It doesn't lock up the file system. So
interesting. Yeah, Scott said that he tried a manual install, but it didn't go quite as he had hoped. He said it just needs a power switch. And has arrived with the repo already removed. So that was quick because you guys ordered those on Sunday. And the message came to me. I want to say that it came on Monday. So, yeah, that was.
I wonder if they're basically like imaging them made to order type thing.
Could be. I don't know. I know that they went out of stock for a while.
Is the OS on that stored on an SD card?
No, it's got internal NAND.
Okay, so they would have to flash the actual device then.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, so if you corrupt it, you can download the firmware from their site, but if you don't have access to set up an SD card, you can actually reach out to them. They will mail you free of charge an SD card that you can use to then restore the firmware, and then they ask that you please mail the SD card back.
Email the SD card back.
Yeah, email the SD card back. Mail the card back so that they can keep the service for free. Scott said they heard an echo for just a minute, but it's gone.
That's good.
Sanders said install Clipper on it. Why? What is everybody's obsession with Clipper? I don't want to install Clipper on everything or anything. No, it runs. It's a version of Debian, I believe. Scott's probably played with his more, just judging by what he said. He's probably played with his more than I did mine. I took mine. I installed the Pi-hole on it and the Pi VPN on it. I'm trying to think if I did anything else with it, and then I've just been hammering on it as far as a Pi-hole all week, and I don't know. It's just a nice little box.
I think the problem with the old bed on this is that they put a 24 volt or 12 volt bed on a 24 volt system.
The bed that was on it?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't. I did research on that one point. I don't think that's a problem. I think it just doesn't heat up as fast.
I guess you're right. You're right.
It's a 12 volt bed on a 24 volt system, or a 24 volt bed on a 12 volt?
It's a 12 volt bed on a 24 volt system, so that would definitely.
So it heats up twice as fast. Takes less amperage.
Because when I'm looking at it, my new one has three, and new, I mean, it's got 3 pads. So you're supposed to use these 2 together if it's 12 volts, or these 2 together if it's 24 volts. And that one there's only got the 12 volt connections. Everything else is the same. Now it's possible it's a dedicated 24 volt one, but I'm just looking at the placements and I'm like, well, it'd be it would be easier just to remove the 12 volt one if it's a 24 volt one and leave the 2 of them where they are, than to remap the 24 volt I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my butt. Who knows?
Scott said, I have Docker running a Minecraft server. In this case, the bare metal install worked better because it had a script to reboot the server and pull in any new Minecraft updates. Docker, I have to manually update when the kids complain. Less volts, more amps. Yeah, but his is the other way. It's a 12-volt bed with 24 volts. So it's more voltage.
So it's possible. So it would
amperage.
heat, but it would heat faster. Well, obviously 24 volts always heats faster, but also
Right.
if the traces weren't designed for that type of, I don't know. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop talking before everybody realizes I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing and I lose respect.
Uncle Ron said, so you only use one wire for half the voltage.
So the other thing is I bought a 140 watt Weller soldering gun, and it did not work for this at all.
Chris Lane from Venturi 3D popped in and said, hi, everybody. That poll's a double negative. Do you feel that Glenn should not give spoilers about things on FKG that have not been released yet? That's not a double negative. Sir, you go stand in the corner for 5 minutes.
Better make it 10.
It was actually Chris that said that to me. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't. Right now, he's like, what? It is 50-50 right now. So half the people want to know the future and the other half don't. Yeah, I'm not. See, now I don't know how I'm going to handle that. So give spoilers to things that have been released. Well, yeah, but people may not have watched them, but it's still out there. Just so you know, Chris, as you're coming into this late. Well, first of all, thanks for being here. I mean, even late, still appreciate you being here. No, I was contacted by somebody who watches, and they said that they don't feel that I should give out spoilers for the up and coming stuff, like that. I shouldn't have said that the Fummins is up and running beautifully and does a great job. Carl said, or half don't want to know and the other half doesn't care. Chris said he's in the cone of uncertainty like me. Yeah, but fortunately I live like right smack in the middle of the state, east to west. So even when the hurricanes come here, they're not too terribly bad. And some people like to binge at the end of a season. True, but I hope my seasons are really, really, really long. I'd like to be doing this for a long, long time. So I should, well, maybe that's a spoiler. Maybe I can't tell you guys that. No, forget it. I got news, but I can't tell you guys. No, seriously though, I very possibly have somebody coming on board to help out, mainly slinging camera and stuff.
Is it me?
No, you live too far away.
I thought you said you were going to import me.
Import you. But no, like he's really excited to be able to help out, and he's like, would you mind? And I'm like, mind, God. So.
And that man's name is Elon Musk.
Yeah, we don't talk about Daddy Musk though.
We don't talk about Elon.
No, but I think that he could bring a new perspective on some things, and also some equipment. He's got some pretty cool stuff that I can use. He's got a nice drone. I can get some drone footage. And he's got a nice small DJI camera. Mark sent me a link on Twitter's today to a camera that you wear, like you put on. It's almost like reverse glasses, and then it's got a camera mounted right here, which he said, for shots like up under the dash. But I think I would have been able to get clean shots up underneath there had I had the GoPro at the time. Oh, James disappeared. Maybe he was getting a visit from his wife. Chris Lane said, sadly, I'm not going to Earth. I'll be walking around Orlando Maker Faire. I've moved on to trying to patent something instead of building 3D printers. Exciting stuff, though. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not going to make it to Earth either. I've got way too much stuff going on. So,
plus, I'm not going to be there. And you said if James isn't there, I'm staying home out of solidarity.
It was one of the decisions. It was one of the factors in the decision. Sanders 3D, thank you for being here. He said he's got to sign off. Alarm clock goes off in 5 hours. Oh, I don't envy
Well,
you.
we hope you have a wonderful 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I hope it's a good solid 5 hours for you. Orlando Maker Faire is in November. I will pull it up for sure. Orlando Maker Faire will be taking place this year, November 5th and 6th. And it is their 10th anniversary. 10 years they've been doing this. Which is pretty amazing because that means it's been like 5 years that I've been going. I've been going for half as long as they've been doing it.
Giggity.
Easy.
It's a family-friendly channel.
Mark said we had friends that were planning to stay at Sanibel Island. Everything got canceled, so they had to come back home. Yeah, well, I mean, the way that the path is going, and like I'm no weather guy, but the way the path is going, it keeps pushing more out and more towards Tallahassee. So hopefully it's not going to touch any of us. And to heck with those people in Tallahassee. No. Did you want to talk about the weather, or were you just making chit chat? Come on, what's that a reference to? Only one of the greatest movies ever made.
Power Rangers?
Wow. Groundhog Day.
I did love Groundhog Day, but it has been a very long time since I saw it.
Really? I've seen that movie like 4 billion times. It's like they play it over and over and over again.
But only at one specific time of year.
But yeah, when he's in the bed and breakfast and she said something about the weather and he's like, well, actually what's going to happen is the cold front's going to be like this.
Okay, I have to find cable tie, so bear with. I didn't even test the Prusa. I was just like, seems like it's moving fine. I'm just going to throw it back over there. I'll go to print with it at some point and it'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, your geometry's all off and you're obese. I'm like, well, thanks a lot, Prusa.
And you really need a shower.
Hey, I shower once a week whether I need it or not.
Uncle Ron said we need to check on Walter after the storm. Because he is actually like right in the armpit of the state, kind of where the center of the cone of despair is. Cone of uncertainty. One of those cones. I got Lego blindness. I'm missing a piece.
This has got holes that you can...
Because I thought it was gray, but it's actually black. Uncle Ron said he done had his shower in May.
I'm going to use quiz ties where I should be using cable ties because I don't have cable ties that are a good enough fit.
$110, $120, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. I'm going to cable tie. I'm going to put ties here, but then I'm also going to put a cable tie on the corner. Makes me happy.
I believe that is from Pete's Dragon. What, the 110, 120, whatever it takes, is from Mr. Mom. Glenn Hogue said, I finally got around to settling with the insurance company over the van accident back in May, and Copart has my old van listed. Well, it'll be interesting to see what it sells for. There's a YouTube channel that I watch. I don't actually know how to say the name of the channel. I think it's VCore, VEHCOR. I just kind of like the guy's dry humor. It's fun. Oh, done. Had our shower in May. But yeah, he's been doing a series now about different cars that he watches go through one of the auctions, and it gets sold, and then all of a sudden it's back with repairs done to it, but it's like they just butcher it to try to get it back on there just to make a couple of $1,000 or whatever they can. There was a Lamborghini that was listed down in Miami that had bullet holes in it. It was all done shot up.
That's just aftermarket weight reduction.
That's right. Speed holes. But it's Miami. I think all cars down there have bullet holes in them. I think they come brand new off the lot that way.
Sometimes. I'm trying to figure out how this was done up before. I don't know if... I'm trying to figure out how it was done up before that the strain relief, which is here, doesn't cause the wires to make contact with the Z-axis, because the Z-axis motors are mounted on the inside on this guy.
Oh, that's not your Prusa.
No. So I was saying, I put the Prusa away without even testing. I was like, it's probably fine.
Yeah, no, I
moved it back and forth like 6 times. That's probably pretty good there, right?
It's fine. It's fine. It'll never know the difference.
Let's see if I can just do a little pan and tilt action there, and just lock this down so she don't tilt more than she pans. Pan's Labyrinth. Yeah, so the strain relief is here. Oh, of course, my freaking pictures. Here, let me get rid of the ugly guy that's always in these frames.
Uncle Ron said bloodstains. No, but it did have a hazmat. It had the biohazard symbol on it when it was up for auction the first time. But generally, they have them cleaned. But still, I would never buy one that has a bio warning on them.
So you can see here, there's the Z-axis motor, and it's on the inside of the frame.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you guarantee that that's not going to make contact with the Z motor.
Wires need to be in a wrap.
They definitely do. But then the wrap's going to be brushing against there anyways. Before I wrap any of the wires,
but if you were to wrap them kind of rigid so that it pointed more toward the back of the machine and away from the motors,
then it would fold this way, right? Well, then I'm worried it's also going to grab the edges of this. I think it needs to. I need to try and figure out how to make it fold up.
Yeah, when it comes forward, all of a sudden it grabs the back of the frame.
Maybe that's the trick. Maybe I need to give it a little more access here. Tighten this right down. And then even if these were cable tied, just so they bind together, just to keep that pointed up. But for now, I'm going to make sure that everything actually works together before I make anything too permanent, you know?
I'm going to look at Glenn's van.
How many ends are in that, Glenn?
Just one.
Oh, and he's got a van, you say?
He's a serial van killer. Holy cow. Yeah, that was that's pretty good and wrenched.
Now I have to figure out how this is all wired for power, because
being that you shared that lot number publicly, Glenn, I'm assuming that you don't mind if I if I share this up just so that other people can see it? I'll wait for your head nod before I actually do it, but I mean, Mark asked you, did you send the 140 watt solder gun back and get a larger one?
I have not sent it back yet. I don't know that I'll buy a larger one though, because the prices went up by quite a bit after that.
Well,
Unless
they heard you were looking to buy one,
and there's a bunch of off-name ones or whatever that say that they're higher wattages, but my experience thus far has been that they just put whatever they want and hope that people don't know the difference.
So there's Glenn's van. Well, it's not Glenn's van anymore, but Glenn's former van.
She's seen better days.
Yeah, looked like he rolled it down a mountain. Whew. Looks like used aluminum foil. Yeah, hard to straighten that out. Somebody will fix that though. They'll fix that, and then they'll put it on a used car lot with a clean title, and say, "Oh yeah, no, it's never been wrecked." Oh, by the way, just so you know, I got a jet out right at 6:30 tonight. I probably should have started the stream with that, but no going over tonight because I got to go pick the boy up. The birthday boy.
No stress.
I was in the right lane on the interstate and someone was backing up on the shoulder, then turned his back end into my truck. Holy cow. See, that's the kind of crazy stuff that can happen just in an instant. You just minding your own business and blam. Well, we're glad that you're okay, Glenn. Serial killer or not. We'll need one heavy duty spring on the right to counter the Bondo weight. Yeah, no, they'll pull it out, put a new fender on it, hang a new door. I don't know, like like I watch a couple of different body shop YouTube channels, and it's amazing what they can do. It's just when they do this stuff and then don't disclose it that it becomes a real issue. So I got to attend a car show yesterday. Totally by accident. Like I was making my way somewhere else, and we got there, and they were having a car show, and I'm like, awesome. So I'm a car guy.
You don't say.
I like all kinds of stuff when it comes to automobiles. I mean, there's a few trends that I don't necessarily buy into. I don't understand the squatted truck thing. It just annoys me mainly because their headlights are all up in your face, and I just know the damage it's doing to the engine and transmission. But this particular car show had a little bit of everything. It had some nice classic cars. It had there was a guy with a Mustang. I'm not a fan of Mustangs. I don't hide that fact. I just not a fan of Mustangs. This car was so immaculately clean. And so I looked at it, and then I moved on to the next car. Well, all of a sudden he comes around and he's got a little like a dust buster, and he's in there vacuuming. And I walked up behind him and I said, "What in the world could you possibly be vacuuming out of that car?" And he's like, "What?" And I said, "It is so clean. There's nothing left in there to vacuum." And he's like, "Well, I could dump the vacuum out and show you. There was a couple of specks in there, like this." It was impressive how clean the car was. But I was talking to a guy that had I think it was a 67 Chevelle, and it was super clean, and it was all original. No, it was fully restored, like accurately restored, down to the. He had he told me it was a repop of the window sticker, like the whole works. Nice job on the car. But I'm going to tell you, and if this wasn't a family-friendly channel, I'd really tell you. But the guy was a jerk, to put it family-friendly. I mean, we were just having a conversation, and I was telling him about my truck project, and I said I've got a '66 Thunderbird that I'm seriously considering putting a Cummins in, or a Cummins engine in, to make it into a Cummins. And the guy, he looks at me and he goes, like it was the worst idea he's ever heard in his whole life. And I thought to myself, as a car guy, nope, everybody gets to have their own vision, their own view, their own desires, their own. And it was like, I cut the conversation off with him. I'm like, well, it's nice talking to you. I just walked away from him. I thought, what a jerk. So, and then I met a guy that had a 64 Thunderbird, and the thing was super, super clean. But,
guy also owned a Mustang.
What's that?
I said the guy also owned a Mustang. It's like the same guy with the clean cars.
Yeah, no, the Mustang was clean. Like you could eat off the floor. It was clean. The Thunderbird was clean. Like it's a 1964 and it looked new. Like, I mean, yeah, it was, but
was
I
a
mean, it
sight to
wasn't
be
a huge
seen.
car show, but it was like I said, it was a bonus. We didn't even know it was there. We just happened upon it, and it was fun. Got to walk around.
And as a king of fun, you thought that this is where I should be.
That's right.
I wish I was in 3D here, but I guess I'm just in the garage.
Chris Lane said, I had a 63 T-Bird scale model kit. Get a V12 to go in that T-Bird. Well, I found a 460 for it. I have yet to go get it, but the guy gave me a pretty sweet deal. I think the ship is done. I think I just got to build the little car now. Ooh, doggy.
Ooh, spaceship.
Spaceship. It's heavy.
Why don't you want to come out of your?
But I gotta say, this is one of those models that you put on a shelf to look at. You don't play with it because it's kind of fragile.
Huh.
There's certain Lego things that are built like super tough.
This is not one.
This is not one. No, this is the Death Star. The Death Star looks amazing. Don't ever move it.
Just ask Ned from that spider show. Had to block somebody today.
Did you?
They said they watched Spider-Man No Way Home and did not care for it. They said, well, I don't care for you.
I was going to say, I block somebody at least once a day. I block somebody.
I am terrible for... I think I have one person blocked on Twitter. Nope, not even blocked. I've unfriended one person on Twitter.
I work very hard to control what comes through on my feed.
Yep.
And so, like, I don't know how to get into this conversation without getting into this conversation, but when certain topics, like somebody may
charged stuff by any chance?
What's that?
For me, it's politics when that seems to be the person's entire personality.
Yes, but see, it's not even that. Like, so let's say, I mean, you and I are obviously friends on Twitter. But So say there's somebody that's, regardless of political party, they're spewing hate one way or the other.
Yep.
And it's say, somebody that you follow and you like their post. So then it shows me their post because you liked it. I block that person. Not that I would block you. I wouldn't block the person that I'm friends with on Twitter or the people that I'm following. It's not even necessarily friends, just following. I block the person that was spewing the hate. Now, if the person that I'm following is spewing the hate, that's different. But I would block them. I got no room in my life for hate. Life's too short for that.
I never had specific beef with the person that I unfriended. I just every post was something politically driven, or and like it was like multiple ones a day, and I'm just like, nah, I'm not.
Well, that's it. I mean, I cater my and this is actually a good thing to say too, because if you followed me on Twitter under the Fun King Garage account and I didn't follow you back, it's probably because your account is mainly 3D printing.
You don't want to give the algorithms over there the wrong idea.
Right. Like I followed James with my Fun King Garage account, and all of a sudden I was getting like, James likes this person. James likes this person. And I'm like, I don't care who James likes.
I don't like anybody. How's that? What do you think of that?
So yeah, that's the only reason that I didn't follow you back. Like if your profile is mainly 3D print. So those of you who I have followed back, you should feel very special, because there aren't very many of you. But no. So I try to. I guess the short version of that long story was that I just try to cater my accounts to be around a specific topic. So, Chris Lane said, I want the Lego Imperial Star Destroyer, no matter they have no place to put it.
If you only knew the power of the dark side, then you'd find a place to put it. Do you see that James Earl Jones has officially retired from doing the voice of Darth Vader?
No, I didn't, but that
happened this week, although apparently he's signed over the digital rights for his voice to Disney so they can continue to use AI.
Oh, yeah, and just recreate it.
Well, I guess for Kenobi, that was actually how they did it.
Interesting.
I haven't finished watching Kenobi. I haven't actually even gotten to the part where they've got Darth Vader talking yet, but
I'm done.
Oh, you just went from Fun King to Dun King.
I have 15 minutes to spare.
I think I just finished rewiring this with the Meanswell power supply and everything in place too.
Is it racist if I make the white guys drive? Maybe I should make one red guy and one white guy drive, just to be fair.
It's only racist if you bring attention to it.
Oh.
Okay, so now we just have to hope when I plug this in
that it doesn't burn your house down.
That the power doesn't go out. Do you want to come check my wiring for me? No, I'm sure it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Trust me, Glenn.
Hold it up to the camera and let me see it. No, it's fine. I got it.
Okay, well, I hear fans running. And it's showing bed temperature and hot end temperature. Let's see if it'll heat the bed. Let's just go for 60. How's that sound?
My mother's back in the chat. She said, I'd sure like to watch Pinocchio. We're not allowed to talk about that on here. I share my TV. I share my TV with my mother, and for some reason she can't connect. So there it is, 100%. Now I'm gonna smash it on the floor. Oh no.
And then do it all over again. Free content for next week.
That'd be terrible. But I am going to park it back here on the FK1 because the FK1 will make a perfect landing dock. Brilliant. Well, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad that you guys hung with me through that for the last 19 weeks or whatever it took me to put that together. I wonder where this little guy goes.
I'm so stupid. I'm not stupid. I made a silly mistake. I didn't wire the power for the bed into the MOSFET. So I'm like, everything's like the LEDs are turning on both on the MOSFET and on the board. Everything looks like it should be heating. Yeah, except for, let's see, where's it pointing right now? Except for these two wires that are just hanging out there doing nothing.
Oh yeah, well, you just got to rub those together all the time. Rub them together fast enough, it'll produce heat.
But not on your nipples. That would be weird.
Always got to take it down the wrong road, don't you?
Only one step though, not enough to get you in trouble on a family-friendly channel.
When I took the alternator from the Nissan up to have it tested a couple weeks ago, the one guy at the auto parts store was training the other guy, and he wouldn't tell him exactly how to hook it up to test it. He's like, well, look at the diagram on the screen and it'll teach you how to do it. And the other guy was like, well, I don't know. I don't understand what this diagram is showing. And so I finally said, well, you put that there and you put that there. And he said, oh, and I said, you put these two big clips on your nipples. And he goes, what?
It's like a dream come true. Okay, see if we can bring the bed up to heat now.
So I have a question for the hive mind. First of all, do any of you guys use a Plex server for any reason? Do. We're not going to get into why.
I do for family videos.
Right. Whatever your needs are. Do any of you use Plex on an LG TV?
I have in the past.
We can't figure out how to get my mom to sign out of her account so we can sign back in.
Oh.
And because her TV suddenly won't see the server. Sergio asked, when did I last print on the FK1? It's been a while. It was before we moved in here because I don't have enough power in here to even fire it up right now. So it's been a little while. But speaking of prints, did I do this print last week or was it the week before?
I don't know.
I don't remember, but the print's done. Oh, that's got some good weight to it. I must have made that thing pretty solid. So now I just got to get the remainder of the stuff for it. The heat insert. And of course, I don't have a regular Sharpie here. Hold that kind? No, it's got to be a regular fat Sharpie.
Well, the bed is replaced and heated up to 60. Trying to see how hot the wires are going to get.
So that's how that works. All right, so try to get this in view. So this is where the Sharpie goes through. This is where the bolt goes through, and the heat set insert goes in here. But what I just noticed is there's a little nubby on this, and then there's indentations on this. So when these are bolted together, this actually like clicks between the sizes, and it's an 1/8 inch every click. But I didn't realize, because I wasn't sure what was going to hold it in place. I didn't know if you just had to crank down on the thumb screw, but it actually locks it into those little indentations. That's pretty slick.
It's pretty slick.
And all that for free. They gave it away. They were just like, here, take it. Uncle Ron said, here, holding on a Sharpie. I have a whole bunch of them down in the toolbox. It's just not worth going to get it.
Okay, I gotta yank the power. And
yeah, so I even tried Googling, bleep blooping it down in the Googles to see how to log out of Plex on an LG TV, and like I can't find. Like someone would be like, you just click under the username, but I've had her try that, and she's read me the whole menu, and it's not there. It was literally working the day before yesterday. Nope, the day before yesterday, and then all of a sudden the next day just stopped. Now the server works fine because I can access it from home. I can see all of my home movies. My life feels empty all of a sudden. I got no more Lego set.
Toy Store.
Well, that was a very fun set to build. It was 159 pages of assembly manual, like of actual assembly. It was 1,254 pieces, and it brought me back to my childhood. It is amazing because I did have this as a kid, and it's amazing to see the little details that were on the original one and how, because they just kind of took the original one and scaled it larger, and it's neat to see how they did that. So
I
Brian
also have
says,
to.
who's got a noisy fan? I hear a fan buzzing in the background.
If you don't hear it anymore, it was me. One of the fans is touching a wire. There's a little. I forgot I also have to replace the board on this guy, which conveniently enough is also the same board I had in the Tronxy garbage box 360.
Garbage box. Uncle Ron said, I recently acquired an HP server with 16 terabytes of storage. I want to load it with FreeNAS and Plex. Go Ubuntu and load up Plex on there. It would run. It just runs incredibly well under Ubuntu.
I will say, old servers aren't always the way to go. Remember, I've got one that's got 48 terabytes of storage and is louder than literally anything in the house, no matter which room you're in.
Well, that's, I have that 1U Dell server, and I would love to use it for something, but the thing sounds like a freaking jet taking off when you fire it up. And the pitch of the fans, like it cuts me, so it makes me rage when it's running. So
it makes you rage against the machine?
It makes me rage against the fan. Brian said, who's buzzing? I'm not, I don't hear it.
Let's see.
Can
you tell me how much time we have left?
What's that?
Can you tell me how much time we have left?
5 minutes.
Okay, I'm doing
Uncle Ron said, may have to unplug the soda machine in the backyard to compensate for the power draw. Hey, Tom Llama. Might be time for a new TV. No, just throw the TV away. Just get a new one. I don't know. I mean, the thing is a lot of these companies, even Samsung, Samsung's interface is like they just stop updating them. I guess it's so that you go out and buy a new TV, but of course the easy option is to put a Roku on it or whatever, but they're smart TVs. They have the stuff built in, and I'm all about remote access. Like I can remote into my mom's laptop and fix things on the laptop, but obviously you can't do that with the TV. So Have a Dell 1425, would like to water cool it. Yeah, see, I don't know if I could pull that off. Oh, I thought James was just being really, really still. I thought he was just working on something and wasn't moving. His computer blue screened. So I don't really expect him to make it back in time for the end of the stream. But yeah, I thought he was being really still. Stick it in the basement. In my basement? Guess this power supply wasn't wired up correctly. Yeah, I would love to water cool that one U I have, but I don't know if there's enough space to even pull that off. I mean, I suppose I could run the coolers out the back, but it's got like 6 fans across it, but they're small like this, but they're super thick and they move a crap ton of air. And it's just loud. I've actually fired it up on stream before quite some time ago, but my nephew just got a 65-inch Samsung for free. Well, that's hard to beat. Customer said remote stopped working. Bought new TV. Bluetooth messed up. A reset cleared it up. Wow, it must be nice to just buy a new TV if your remote stops working. Mark said, just call it. Oh, you tired of me already? Gosh, I am going to call it. So, yeah, you guys are so chatty. So, but I do actually have to bug out. It's 6:28. I got to go right at 6:30 to be able to go pick him up so that he's not hanging out in public by himself. I'm sorry that I couldn't get him on the stream so that you guys could give him a hard time about being so old now. But as of tomorrow, he is 16 years old. So anyway, but yeah, no, he just he was going to be here, and then he's like, well, I got this thing, and I'm like, oh, how are you going to be on the stream? We got this thing, but it's all good. Maybe I'll get him on here next week. He'll still be 16 then as well. No video for me this week. I don't know what James has got going on. I know that his video is got to be close to coming out. I've seen little tidbits of it, and it's good. That whole project is really, really neat, and I hope that's the thing that just finally takes off for him. If he's 16, that means you're a geezer. Oh, I've known that anyway. But yeah, so no video for me. Don't know if there'll be a video for James, but either way, if you haven't watched my last Friday video, please go do. I know it's not the greatest video that I released. It was there was a lot of hiccups through that whole thing, but it's still all part of the process and the project, and it's all bringing it closer and closer to a close. I'm thinking that the next video that's coming out is not going to be a Fummins video if I can get it edited and ready to go. So that'll be fantastic. Yeah. My mother said that makes me old. And if I'm old, what does that make my mom? But anyway, thank you guys, each and every one of you guys, for tuning in. The chat was great tonight. It was good and rolling. Don't forget, there's not a stream next Sunday. We're taking a week off, and then we'll be back. So 2 weeks from tonight, and I will by then for sure have the laser in here. I might have to rework the camera so that you guys can see what I'm doing, because I'm going to put it right here, and it's pretty big. I mean, it's not, like Glowforge big, but it's pretty big. So, and I want to have it right here. So we'll get that set up, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. So thank you for tuning in. We appreciate each and every one of you for being here, because these streams would be senseless without you. And that brings me to the point where I say, as always, Print on.